Hi, this is Dr. Ross coming at you live or recorded, talking about the responsible and ethical conduct of research. And this is the second week of instruction in our course-based undergraduate research experience, or CURE, in RECR. Last time we met, we talked about human subjects research. And to summarize, we learned that there are lots of different reasons that human subjects need to be told what will happen when they participate in a research study. And I asked you to participate as a human subject in my ongoing study of this class, understanding how well I'm doing in helping you learn about research ethics as a budding scientist and as a student. This week, we'll do an introduction to research ethics. That is sort of the basic principles and concepts in why it's important to study research ethics. And then in future weeks, we'll move through the last 4 topics. So if you happen to be viewing this or participating in person, or if you're participating asynchronously, I do invite both of you groups to go to this URL that's shown at the bottom here, tinyurl.com/F21RECR2. It's for fall 2021, Responsible and Ethical Conduct of Research, week 2. And please note that if you want to add to this document, which I hope you will, you do need to be logged into your Fresno State Google Apps using your Fresno State Gmail credentials to be able to access and edit that document. So we'll be asking some questions through this video, and I'm hoping that you will respond, and I'll ask you in each of those slides to pause the video while you go to the Google Doc and add your responses. That would be great. So let's start with the first question. And again, after this, please pause, go to the Google Doc and add your thoughts there. So who is it in all of society, all humans, who is it that conducts research irresponsibly? Who do you think? Please pause the video now and provide some initial feedback on that Google Doc. So now that we're back, who is it? Is it, for example, I presume this is a research mentor on the right side of this video clip, or maybe the research student, I assume, on the left side could be a research technician or a mentor, right? This could be the professor, this might be the student on the right side, who seems to be asking something about these images that they're seeing on the computer monitor. So the short answer is everybody has the opportunity to conduct research irresponsibly. I'm not saying it's a good thing. I made it sound like it was a good thing, but it's not. But anybody who is involved in the research enterprise, from the people that conduct experiments and collect data to the people that analyze data, interpret data, publish data, share data in talks at conferences, write Twitter posts, post things to their Instagram. Everybody involved has the opportunity to conduct research irresponsibly. And that's what we're here to try to help you avoid as you proceed through this course, because again, you're going to be conducting research in this course. Not the sort of cookie cutter research you might have seen in former lab experiences where you already know what the answer is supposed to be, although that also leads to the temptation to conduct irresponsible research. But in this class, we'll be seeing that there's an opportunity in many places throughout the experimental design methods, results, interpretation, and communicating your results to do unethical things. So we're here to share with you what not to do, basically. So here's the follow-up question. Again, I'm going to ask you to pause the video in just a minute and turn back to that Google Doc to answer the question. Again, brainstorm, share your initial thoughts. In everybody involved in research, whose responsibility is it to prevent unethical practices? So please pause the video now and turn to that Google Doc, share a few thoughts, and then come back and resume the video. And welcome back. So because this is asynchronous, I can't record your thoughts now, but they are recorded in that Google Doc for future analysis and interpretation and discussion. Here's a quick summary. Just like the previous slides, it's everybody's responsibility to prevent unethical practices. It's not just the government or the university administration or department chairs or deans or even the professors of the course or teaching assistants. It's your responsibility also to be aware of what's ethical and what's unethical so that you can spot it too. Everybody's got senses that they can use to pick up whether others around them are doing things that are unethical. And it's important to know that everybody has power and responsibility to report what they suspect is unethical. Okay. So again, this is the introduction week to irresponsible or responsible conduct of research. So it's important to think about what are some outcomes, what are reasons that it's not good to conduct irresponsible research? Why should we care about preventing it? Like the previous slide, we're all responsible for trying to observe unethical research and to report it so that it doesn't happen. Why is the big question? Why do we care? So please pause the video now, go back to our shared Google Doc, and add your thoughts to this prompt. What are some possible negative outcomes when responsible conduct of research is broached, that is, irresponsible conduct of research is conducted? Okay, so pause now, go back to that Google Doc, add a few thoughts, and then return, please. And welcome back. So again, we could brainstorm if we were live, but we're not. You've brainstormed on our Google Doc. So what are some outcomes of irresponsible conduct research? Well, there are many. So one thing is there could be medical consequences. What if somebody is conducting a research project on the efficacy of a drug and they fake data? And that drug gets approved and people take it and people have negative health consequences, maybe even die because that drug was approved on fake data. That would be a serious outcome of irresponsible conduct of research. Let's think of some other ones. Waste of resources. So I don't want to focus too much on fraud, which is making up data. There are lots of other types of unethical conduct that we're going to see in the next few weeks. But let's, I guess, continue on that topic of making up data. So let's say that a faculty member has gotten a federal grant from, say, the National Institutes of Health. They've given him thousands of dollars or hundreds of thousands of dollars usually to conduct a particular research project. So let's say that money goes to the university, but instead the faculty member just makes up a bunch of data, publishes it, and then what happened to all that money? That money wasn't used for actually conducting research. I don't know what the money was used for, maybe paying students to not do anything, I don't know. But somebody else who would have actually conducted real research that would come up with real data that would answer a biological question could instead have gotten that money if it hadn't been given to fraudulent Professor X. And there are many, 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 many other things that we could put on here. I'll just add one more for the sake of time, which is, well, it follows on from the waste of resources, which is waste of time. You may not be familiar, but the idea behind the research enterprise is that some research groups conduct experiments, they publish them, other people read them, they see their results and their conclusions, and then other research groups will base their research projects on what's previously known. And that's how research works. We learn things, and we have questions, we build hypotheses based on prior knowledge, and we try to learn new things. So what if those other research groups out there, faculty members, postdocs, graduate students, undergraduate students, are all working on projects that are based on a fake conclusion based on false data? That amplifies the waste of resources, because not only has the initial research group been irresponsibly conducting research, faking data, for example, but now that has amplified throughout the scientific community, and lots of other knowledge and programs and people's time and energy and resources are being wasted chasing basically fake avenues of investigation. There are lots and lots and lots and lots and lots of reasons for us to be considerate and to be careful to avoid the irresponsible conduct of research. So here are some potential outcomes. I already mentioned waste of money, right? Money going down the drain here in the lower right-hand corner of the screen. Other major issues, though, involve society. What happens if society stops trusting the outcomes of scientific research? We've seen cases where scientists in the bottom left-hand corner here faked data, and in tears, they have a press conference where they have to admit that they were guilty of faking data, and that all of the accolades and press and so forth were based on lies. That has negative career consequences for the people that are involved. Also, another case of falsified data, we have huge issues in the world now with vaccine hesitancy, because some people think vaccines are linked to autism based on a fraudulent study that was conducted years ago. But the problem is, even though it was later found that that research was falsified and that paper was retracted, that is, nobody believes that paper anymore, it got out into society, and society is not as familiar with the ideas of retraction. And so it's unfortunate, because now that idea that the MMR, measles, mumps, and rubella vaccine might cause autism, that idea broadly exists in the world, and it's hard to take that idea back now. So it's important to do things right the first time rather than try to fix your problems afterwards. Likewise, in the upper right-hand corner, we can see that the public trust in science is dipping, and it also depends on political ideology, although that's less relevant to our story here. The point basically is that public trust in science in some groups of humans has been trending down over time. This is an old graph, but I'd be surprised if it's changed much. So it's our responsibility as scientists to make sure we know the rules of research conduct so that we don't violate them. So with all of that in mind, please help me brainstorm, either live or using that Google Doc. We have the link earlier in the video. Why do you think scientists would choose to act irresponsibly in research? That is, what are the possible motivations for scientists? Even though they might know what not to do, they choose to do that anyway. So please turn to that Google Doc if you're an asynchronous learner, provide your comments there, and then return to the video. Right, hi again. I hope that was a good use of your time. So what are some possible reasons that scientists would be irresponsible in their research practices? Well, there are lots of different reasons, and I'm not going to enumerate them because this video is already getting longer than it should be. But basically, money, career, and prosperity, prestige. So there's a lot of pressure on scientists to publish research, because that's how we get grants from various agencies who will give us money to conduct more research. For students, there are opportunities like, well, maybe you would accidentally or purposefully be fraudulent because it will get you a better grade in the class, or because you think you know what the right answer is. So you might fudge the data a little bit, maybe remove some outlier data points so that your answer looks more like what you think the teacher wants to see. There are lots of different motivations for scientists to be unethical. And again, that's why it's important for us purposefully here in the first 6 weeks of this class to walk through what are the expectations of scientists conducting ethical research so that you know what not to do. And that's exactly why we're here. This is one of my favorite quotes. Experience is what you get after you need it. We don't want you to get in trouble because you didn't know the rules and then get that experience of, oh, okay, well, now I know what I shouldn't have done. We're here to give you the answers first so that you don't violate any research ethics norms through the course of your experience here in Biology 104 and beyond in your undergraduate career as a global citizen and as a developing scientist. So for next week, we have one Canvas discussion board that we'd like you to participate with. And we've also got an exit ticket right now you can also find on your Canvas site regarding what you just learned about research ethics and the motivations and principles behind why it's important to know what the guidelines are. Thanks for watching. This is Dr. Ross signing off, and I'll see you in our next video.